dive deeper into the fallout over the signal texts among top security leaders, as well as the administration asking to intervene in deportation flights. With us is Deputy Assistant to the President and Senior Policy Strategist for the White House, Mailman. May, great to see you again.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Of course. So we know there are calls from both sides of the aisle for more accountability. What will the administration do moving forward to ensure this doesn't happen again?
So as far as signal, I really do agree with Vice President Vance that the story here really is the coverage. The story here is the media. Here you had a very successful operation that opened up trade for the globe. And that story is barely covered, even though Americans and others had been suffering relentless attack from Houthi terrorists that had been de-designated as terrorists by the Biden administration, and then a thoughtful process, a successful operation in order to end that terrorism. And yet we're talking about the signal chat. So if there were even coverage, I think that this would be a very fair question. There's not been even remotely fair coverage, but I do think, this was a mistake and everybody has said so. And so the thing that it highlights, though, is a thoughtful and successful operation.
The administration is now asking the Supreme Court to lift a U.S. district judge's temporary block on deporting Venezuelan nationals. Trump administration, they've taken a hardline approach to immigration, but he is facing resistance from the courts. You're a deputy assistant to the president, and you're a former associate White House counsel. How do you see this playing out, May?
So this is, if people are into reading Supreme Court briefs, I really do recommend this one. I usually go to SCOTUS blog and check it out because it's 40 pages, it's not that long, and it really lays out a clear case, which is who is responsible for these sensitive national security decisions? Is it the President of the United States through a months-long law enforcement process, or is it a district court judge who issued this ruling before even hearing from the government? And I think that the answer here is obvious. This is something that had been coordinated with other nations. This had been, we used the most elite law enforcement agencies to identify and swiftly detain and remove people. And not only that, the legal process, the law is clear. The only recourse for the Alien Enemies Act through the courts is through something called habeas. It is not through what they're trying to use, which is the Administrative Procedures Act. So I think on the law, we've got the right case, but I think on the practicalities, can judges jump in and make these decisions and say, yes, deport, no deport, without even hearing any information, without any legal basis to do that? No, I also think that the Supreme Court is going to stand with us practically and legally.
I just want to add that this judge has ruled with President Trump in the past when it came to not releasing his tax documents. So it doesn't seem like the judge just always rules against Trump. Also, there is the point that none of these men had due process. We don't even know if everybody on that flight was a part of a criminal gang. Is that what these judges are arguing?
So I don't think that that really is relevant here because this is not, asylum, it's funny. So asylum is a post-Holocaust mechanism for people who are fleeing true violence, discrimination, where they're going to die in their country.
Okay.
Tren de Aragua Venezuelan gangs are not part of that. They are sent by Venezuela to the United States in order to destabilize the United States. So there's a fundamental difference and a fundamental inapplicability here. But either way, the legal tool, like it or don't like it, is the Alien Enemies Act. And Congress is at full authority, and they have been for hundreds of years, in order to rescind this tool, and they haven't done it. And so in the Alien Enemies Act, the only recourse is habeas. There is not a lengthy due process case, but the United States has to make certain findings about the country and the relationship between these enemies and their country, and that's what the United States has done, and that is the relevant question, not the due process question.
May, we have to move on, but you mentioned asylum. I just want to mention again, we don't know if all those men are part of that criminal gang, but I will move on now. Thanks for watching. Go to joinnn.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.